Welcome to the Journal podcast from the Chartered Insurance Institute, a place for thought-provoking discussion from the world of insurance and beyond. I'm Luke Holloway, editor of the Journal. Today I'm speaking with Sarah Fardon from the Worshipful Company of Insurers. We'll be finding out what the organisation does and how it supports its members and the wider insurance profession. Sarah will also be telling us about her role in the company, as well as what's on the horizon for 2025 and beyond, and how you can get involved. Hello, Sarah, and thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today.
Hello, Luke, and it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, and we're very interested to hear all about your role with the Worshipful Company of Insurers and all about the organisation itself. So for anyone that may not know about the WCI, Sarah, can you give us a bit of background about what the organisation does?
Absolutely, I can, Luke. The Worshipful Company of Insurers is a livery company, and liveries, if you've heard of butchers, bakers, candlestick makers, those liveries have been going for hundreds and hundreds of years, and there are about 113 livery companies, all connected with the City of London. And the Insurers is one of those. We're a modern livery. We've been going for about 47 years. And liveries have, in the main, 3 or 4 aims that are common across the livery movement. The first thing that they're about is fellowship. Second thing, philanthropy. Third thing, education. Fourth thing, to support the city civic, the City of London, and the mayoralty. And I'm sure we can expand on those over the course of our discussion.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really interesting that it has so much of a rich history to it, but very interested to hear about how that works in today's insurance profession and in the modern City of London as well. So can you tell us about your role as incoming master, Sarah? Because you're a chartered insurance broker yourself and a fellow of the CII with experience in the insurance profession. So what led you to get involved with the WCI, and what will your role be as master?
Yeah, absolutely. I joined the Worshipful Company of Insurers in 2015. And as you say, I've got a day job. I work for Willis Towers Watson, and I've had a long career in the world of insurance. But I do believe strongly in the benefit of volunteering and doing something outside of your day job. By absolute coincidence, I had been on the board of the Chartered Insurance Institute for a term there. And so a couple of people off the board introduced me to the Worshipful Company of Insurers as something different to move on and get involved in. And at first, I get involved, start to meet people, start to find out more about the Worshipful Company of Insurers. But bit by bit, I've been involved in different committees and played an ever-increasing role in the Worshipful Company through to now. I'm currently Senior Warden, will very, very shortly be Master. And that is an officer of the Worshipful Company thinking about its direction, where it goes, what we want to achieve, and working with our clerks, who are our permanent employees of the Worshipful Company.
Incredible. So, I mean, the Chartered Insurance Institute obviously has a huge number of volunteers, which is just so valuable to the organisation itself. And presumably you've found that that's just been a huge part of your career path, the kind of the networking, the social side of it, and the thought leadership. And as you say, these committees you're involved in, that it's a real kind of rich organisation to be involved in, would you say?
Yes, I'm very strong in terms of thinking anything you volunteer for brings really valuable experience. You open your eyes to things that are external to your day job. You meet different people and you see the external environment, and you can learn and translate things back to your day job. So that's the first thing I think. It's interesting. It's good. You grow as an individual as well. From the Worshipful Company of Insurers then, as I've got involved in that, I've absolutely understood and been involved much more in the rhythm of the City of London. Loads of people are coming into London to work every single day, and the whole City of London is taking place. It's self-governing. Lots of things happen that are connected with supporting the financial services industry. And yet most people, myself included, don't really know anything about that whole city side of London. We just come in and do our job. So I've been able to learn a lot more about that. And also, I've met a vast array of people from the membership of the Worshipful Company of Insurers, because it really brought home to me how broad insurance is. I can remember one of my first discussions with a member at one of the dinners I went to. they were telling me all about the University Mutual. So there's a mutual company set up to insure universities. And, lots of people may know about that. I didn't know about it. And it was fascinating listening to all of that. It was a different area of insurance than I'd been involved in. And so I've expanded my knowledge of our own industry as well, and met a broad range of people through my involvement with the Worshipful Company.
So Sarah, as incoming master, you choose a theme for your tenure. The theme you've chosen is My WCI. So can you tell us more about what that means and what you hope that your members will gain from that?
I most definitely can. My WCI is a heading really to encompass everything that I want to bring together through my year as master. And what that is standing for is an enhanced sense of belonging. So I've already alluded to the fact that in the Worshipful Company that we do a tremendous amount. And I'm doing stuff on the livery, every day of the week, and I'm still learning things about the livery. I then think about some of our other members who maybe, everyone's busy in their day jobs. They come along to some events and meet different people, but would probably not be able to articulate the breadth and depth of the Worshipful Company of Insurers. Throughout my year, therefore, I want to work on developing our communication. We have good communications already, but I think we can do a lot more to tell members what they are part of. The Worshipful Company has several strands to it, and I want to bring that to life so members realise that in their name, these things are happening. I'll give you a couple of examples. All livery companies have connections with the military, and we're no different. And we have a whole team of people who are working with the military and going on different camps and meeting the military. And we see the military when they come to support us at the Lord Mayor's show or when they could turn up to our Mansion House banquet. I think, though, we could do more to bring to life, why do we support the military? Why have we ended up with the affiliations that we have? And what support do we give? And how does that manifest itself and is of benefit to the military? That's just one particular example. Another example is philanthropy. So all members are contributing to making charitable donations. And then we have a charitable trust, which gives out different grants to companies. And so through that, we are supporting smaller charities where we know the money will make a distinct difference to them. I think, though, we could probably tell our members more about the charities that we're supporting and the absolute difference it makes to those charities and bring that to life a bit more. So through a route of different communication and enhanced communication, we can do a lot more. I'm going to be producing a bulletin twice a year, January and July, about 16 pages long, to get into a bit more depth about what we do. We have a monthly comms that comes out at the moment, but with so much to pack in there, it's getting longer and longer and longer. And of course, it gets harder and harder to read. So I want to add to the way that we talk to people and bring home what they are a member of. And of course, when you're a new member, you've got to get to grips with the world of livery. And it is different. It's totally different from anybody's day job. So it does take a bit of thinking, what is this? Or how does it work? Or what is the City of London? And again, using modern communications this year, we've had a WhatsApp group for new members. So I've put on several things on there about just things I'm up to as a senior warden. And that helps members think, oh, great, they're off doing this. I didn't realise all that stuff took place. Again, it just starts to bring to life what goes on in the world of livery. And then as with any proposition that you've got, our membership committee, I'm working with them to keep thinking about the strategy for the Worshipful Company. Where is it we're trying to get to? What do we want? What do we want to deliver from a membership perspective? So that is my focus. And my aim is that over the course of this year and beyond, because although I'll be the master for a year, what you want to do is put things in place that stand the test of time, is to keep talking more and shine a light on all the great things that we are doing that maybe we're not shining quite enough light on at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like the WCI is active in so many areas. And one of the key focuses of the company is really to embrace the diversity of the industry, isn't it? And create that sense of inclusion for members. So can you tell us more about how you think that really enriches membership and what you see kind of day to day, what your members get out of being a member of the WCI?
Yes, what's really good about the Worshipful Company of Insurers is we've a very broad age range of members. So the aim when you join the Worshipful Company is you join for yourself. You don't join because you work for a particular company or that sort of thing. You join as an individual, and therefore it's all about you. And we want people to join for a long, long time, for life. You make a friendship group and that sticks with you throughout your career. What's good about the Worshipful Company is we've a great section for young people to come and get involved and to meet each other and start to experience the Worshipful Company, but they have also their own propositions. So yesterday, actually, they have a quarterly drinks engagement where they're meeting after work, a group of young people, and mixing, matching, talking. And I went to join for part of that. And it was fabulous to meet. Equally, they're interested to talk to me and say, how is it going to be for you as the master? And how long have I been in my career, which is significantly longer than all these young people I was with. So that's at one end of the scale. Equally, we then have iNed for non-exec directors. So, people who've finished their career and want a portfolio career. You've got to be able to stay in touch with people and understand what's going on in the world of insurance. So the Non-Exec Director Forum is aimed specifically at those non-exec directors, keeping them up to date on changes in the marketplace, regulation, state of the market, that type of thing, and is a totally different forum. It's serious topics discussed to keep their knowledge fresh. So they're the two extremes. In between all of that, we then have different interest groups. So some new groups emerging to reflect these topics in the world. A sustainability group, and they have just put something on recently in conjunction with other external parties discussing sustainability. We have a group about entrepreneurism, entrepreneur and innovation. We work with the Worshipful Company of Entrepreneurs to think about what's changing in that world. So you think about insurtech or fintech, new developments, new ways of working. We have an area for iWin, Women in Insurance, again, bringing in women and all sorts of people actually to come and do speed mentoring, talk about topics that are relevant. So there's lots of different areas that appeal to people. And then there's the main body of the Worshipful Company of Insurers doing our day in, day out events and activities. And it's what is really good then is you get a really good mix of people, a really good buzz and of age experience from across the whole market. It's fabulous.
Wow, that's really eye-opening to see. And it's so many different areas, as you say, so many different groups that the WCI appeals to. And particularly interesting to hear, of course, about iWin, which does some incredible work in terms of women in insurance, and also the entrepreneurship and innovation group as well, which is, as you say, just a really exciting kind of group that's aimed at this aspect of insurance that is new and exciting and coming through, isn't it? It's a nice mix.
Yes, it is. Yes. Education's really important to all liveries, as I said. Some of the liveries, the well-established liveries, they've got either links with schools or they have their own schools. So you may hear somebody say, I went to a draper's school or the haberdasher's school. We don't have that available. But what we also do is we work with different schools and we've put on different events. We worked in collaboration with other liveries and other groups to show young people about the City of London, maybe people who wouldn't automatically consider a career in the City of London. We show them, talk to them about insurance. We held something in Lloyd's last year, and you just speak about insurance and what's available and how, there is a career for everybody in the world of insurance, which is what's good about it, and bring it alive for people.
Absolutely. And in terms of that kind of that learning and that knowledge side of it, you mentioned your kind of working groups, of which, the sustainability working group is currently working around the theme of climate change, which is incredibly significant. So how does that work? Do you hold sessions and a kind of panel, speak to the audience and field questions? And then do you produce editorials or do you produce content for your members to then read about those subjects?
Yeah, so we have a committee. So there is a group of people who are working on that, and they then think about, well, what is their remit? What events are they trying to put on? And how are they going to deliver them? Some of those are delivered over the internet in a web format. Others are then put on in person. Maybe they get the event sponsored and they're thinking about what is topical. And it will vary because sometimes it's good to have a panel where you have a debate across a panel. Sometimes it's good to have an individual speaker who's got a lot of different knowledge. So I want to say anything goes. And then we think about our events for members only. So we have a series called the Masters Series, which is really like an in-depth conversation with different experts. We want to make those particularly, member-only events. our events where we're in collaboration with other people have a broader audience. And you can literally mix and match and get involved in a broad range. And what's really good, I think, is I dial into all the masters events. And we have economists on there. We have experts from insurers talking about NatCat, things like that, the impact of changes in the world on the world of insurance. And I think, well, I don't feel I need to know, let's say, about natural catastrophe for my day job. I don't really feel I need to know that. But actually, listening to these topics, it expands your own knowledge and you get involved in a subject that I wouldn't normally come across in my day job. And I really like doing things like that because it gives you a broader aspect, a broader horizon, and the knowledge is really good. And it just expands what you know about. Where would you get that in your day job? So things like that are good. And so the teams put on what feels relevant to them. I know IWIN, they do speed mentoring actually, and I've taken part in this as a mentor where you have 15 minutes with your audience. So you're sitting at a table, a young person comes and sits in front of you. They can ask you any question that they want. So for 15 minutes, you have quite an intense discussion and then they move on and, they go and ask whatever they want to ask of the next person. And you get somebody new coming to sit in front of you. And that's just brilliant. And that's a totally different type of event as well and takes place in a different way. So there's a bit of everything, which again is why it's good.
Incredible. So the WCI is, of course, part of such a fantastic history of livery companies, as you've mentioned, Sarah. But in what ways is it kind of modernising and trying to connect with today's insurance professionals?
The livery movement, as I've already said, or the concept of liveries is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. So the first thing is we respect the tradition. I want to say that because that is important. And members do like the tradition and do like understanding the rhythms of the city. So to give you a couple of different examples, when you're in the livery and you become a liveryman, you've been clothed, then you have the right to go and vote for the Lord Mayor of London, to see the Lord Mayor of London coming into office. You can do the same for the sheriffs of London. And I've taken part in that. And I've really felt part of history when I've done that and thought, wow, I'm doing something that's been going for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And I too am now part of that. So therefore, recognizing and respecting tradition is great. And I say people do like that. And there's a sheep drive over London Bridge as well. You can do that when you've got your freedom of the city. So all those are really good. I'm not trying to change those, not trying to get away from those. The modernization then says, hey, we're in a modern world. How do we digitize ourselves? What do we do about that? So I think, therefore, I've already spoken about, WhatsApp groups. It's pretty basic, actually, isn't it? But it's not that basic because that's how you then create friendships and groups across liveries and being in contact with people. So that's a good thing that we do. We have online communications. We're specifically creating our proposal and attracting young people to get them in and let them experience the world of livery. We have a broad range of events. Some of our events are really grand, really posh, and others are then low-key lunches, pushing fellowship. We have a broad range, broad mix. And I think that's the strength of it, that you have a bit of everything and you evolve bit by bit by bit, but you still remember the tradition, but you adapt to the modern world at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very important, as you say, to have these different kinds of events, different sizes, both in person and digitally, which appeals, as you say, to different people. And hopefully, today's podcast is an audio way of letting our listeners know more about the WCI and the fantastic work it does. So one huge part of your tradition and of the rhythm of the city as well, which is a lovely way to put it, by the way, Sarah, is the Lord Mayor's show. So what part will the WCI be playing in this year's show, which is coming up soon?
We will have a massive part in this year's show for several reasons. The show is one of the biggest unrehearsed shows in London, and it is there to celebrate the installation of the new Lord Mayor of London. And historically, the aim was that the Lord Mayor of London, before all the modern communications, had to parade through the streets of London to show that they were there. Here I am, I do exist, here I am. And that's the roots to that. We, as the insurers, have been in the Lord Mayor's show with our own presence for about 6 years now, 6 or 7 years. And we have a lovely big balloon that we use, a picture of the globe, and around it, it says, London insures the world. obviously saying, here we are, London, Lloyd's of London, everything that comes into London, it's a great phrase to say what we're about. So we've been very proud to do that. This year, we're going to be doing more than that, because we are in the very fortunate position that one of our members, older woman, Dame Susan Langley, she's a member, and she will become the next Lord Mayor of London. So that will be the third female Lord Mayor of London, but she will be the first lady to style herself as the Lady Mayor of London. That's exciting. Sue is the chair of Gallagher's, so very exciting all round for the world of insurance. Super exciting for the Worshipful Company of Insurers, because Sue is from our livery. She's also in the Draper's livery and the Goldsmiths livery. And as the insurers, we get to do some exciting things as well. So we are in the Lord Mayor's show this year. We're going to have an open top bus, and with good banners on it and a bit more presence than we've had before. We've been walking before with our balloon. Now we're having an open top bus. So it's all on the TV as well. So everybody can have a look. And I think it'll be super fun and really different. It's a great day out, because there's 7,000 people take part in the show. It's massive. And the Lord Mayor is taken up to the Royal Courts of Justice to swear an oath and then come back, basically. And it's a massive parade, and all sorts of companies and people and organisations, military, take part. And it's just brilliant, whether you're walking in it, which I've done before and is lovely, or if you're watching it from the side of the road. It's just fabulous. It's just great. So we've got all of that to come. And we've been preparing for it for all of this year, and very much looking forward to seeing that bus and our part in the parade.
That sounds really, really exciting. I mean, a real opportunity, as you say, to celebrate and be proud of the City of London, but also, from our point of view, the insurance profession as well. So, a fantastic event to be involved in, and also great to be able to watch that on TV wherever you are if you can't attend in person. So, very exciting, Sarah. So how would you kind of encourage any insurance professionals that have listened today and they think there's something there for me and I'd like to get involved? I mean, what would your message to them be about taking their next steps to kind of join in the WCI or reaching out or getting involved?
First thing to do is go and have a look at our website, which is www.wci.org.uk. And there's lots of detail there, obviously, about ourselves and about joining. But I would absolutely encourage people to come along to something. There's a series of events that people can look at, but two really good ways to get involved is through iEngage for younger people. Make contact with them. So they do all these informal events. You can turn up and start to meet people, and they're regularly talking to new people in the beginning of their career. Each month, we have lunch on a Friday, and it's at a place in London called the Little Ship Club, and it's very friendly. And we have lots of new people who come along to that, meet with existing members, and start to experience what it's about. When you join the Worshipful Company, you might not think that you know anybody who's in it, but I could probably say everybody will know somebody who's in the Worshipful Company. You might just not know that they are actually in it. So you will meet people who you know, and you will meet a lot of new people, obviously. Everybody is very friendly. And what's good is people come from all walks of life across the world of insurance. So you get to talk to senior people at the beginning of their career, people who've got experience in all sorts of different areas, and you can continue those conversations. Everybody's accessible, willing to help and willing to be involved. So take that first step, come along, connect with me on LinkedIn is another way. All members of the WCI are very happy to meet, have a coffee, explain more about it, bring it to life, and, invite you along to something. So make contact through LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn page as well, actually. Follow us on LinkedIn and make contact. Lots of different ways, and a warm welcome awaits. And the one thing I would just want to finish on is to say, being involved in the Worshipful Company has really enriched, my experience of life in lots of ways. And I would just urge people, if they wish to take that step, please don't hesitate.
Brilliant. Well, we'll certainly feature links to the website alongside this podcast episode, Sarah. And we'll also be featuring the WCI in the journal, I'm pleased to say, with updates around all the fantastic activity that's taking place. So you can look out for that in our member magazine from the Chartered Insurance Institute as well. So all that remains is for me to thank you for joining us today, Sarah. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you and hear about the fantastic work of the Worshipful Company of Insurers. So thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you very much, Luke.
And thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Journal Podcast. You can find useful links in the show notes and related articles on the Journal website, along with further podcast episodes. Please like, review, and subscribe wherever you can. So until next time, thank you for listening and goodbye.